Hello and welcome to another EG Recap. I'm Jack Lindsay, and on today's episode I've got 4 stories for you. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil comes to Nintendo Switch in August. The Surge 2 gets a new gameplay trailer. Cyanide and Happiness and Skybound Games team up to create Trial by Trolley, an ethical dilemma card game. And PlayStation announces the PS Plus free titles for August. Back in March, a remastered version of Turok Dinosaur Hunter was ported to the Switch. It was known that the sequel would follow sometime after, but not exactly when. But now we know that Turok 2 Seeds of Evil will be available for purchase on August 9th, and Nintendo lists its price as roughly $19. Like the original, Turok 2 will be using the improved graphics and audio of the remaster from Night Dive Studios. The story, listed in the game's copy, reads as follows. Having defeated the campaigner, Turok throws the Chronoscepter into a waiting volcano to destroy it. Unfortunately, the blast awakens an even deadlier force, the Primogen. Once again, a Turok is tasked with restoring peace to the land and stopping the Primogen from merging Earth with the Netherworld. And you heard that right, they said a Turok, because it's not his name, it's a title. Turok means Son of Stone, a guardian whose task is to protect the barriers between dimensions. Fight your way through 35 different types of enemies with bouncing bellies, blinking eyes, stretching tentacles, and snapping jaws. From prehistoric raptors to evolved flesh-eaters, to your final battle with the mother of all beasts, you'll want to defeat all of them, they say. Enemies are intelligent. They're smart enough to attack in groups, to flee when they're outgunned, and to take cover during a firefight. Man, back in '98 when this first came out, that was mind-blowing stuff. Enemies flinch and spasm differently depending on which body part you hit. You're just not going to hear stuff like that in game advertisements today. Conquer 6 engrossing quest levels, including the Port of Adia, the Death Marshes, and the Lair of the Blind Ones. Over 20 weapons. Unload multiple ricocheting shotgun shells with the Shredder. Stomp enemies flat while riding an artillery-mounted Triceratops. So for you old school fans of the original games, or even newcomers who might just want to see a blast from the past, as of the 9th of August, you can get both of them on the Nintendo Switch store. For our next story, The Surge 2 released a new gameplay trailer titled Overcome, Upgrade, Survive. Now I'm going to have it playing silently in the background here, so if you haven't seen it yet and you want to check out the real thing, just click on the Surge article in the description below and it'll take you right to it. But either way, I'm interested to hear in the comments what you guys think about the player armors that we see in this trailer. Because to me, they kind of look like, what would be the nice way to say it? Let's just say they need some work. But other than that, I thought the trailer looked pretty cool. Unlike the somewhat confined factory environments of the first game, The Surge 2 takes place in the open and sprawling Jericho City. One of the things that immediately struck me about the trailer was the way that the developers didn't pull any punches when it came to combat. And this is something that's becoming more and more rare in today's games, especially with developers trying to keep the door open for Chinese markets. More often, we're starting to see sparks or flashes of color in place of blood, and anything that would indicate gore is becoming more and more minimized. In some of my recent conversations with developers, they've been telling me how hard it is to get third-party marketing done for their game if it shows any kind of gore at all. But Deck 13 and Focus Home Interactive are staying true to their vision. Weapons are dangerous in this game. They don't bonk you and make sparks fly out. They slice you up like sushi. And that's fun. That's engaging. It's immersive. So the Surge 2 scores points there, regardless of that player armor. It'll be releasing on September 24th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, but as of right now, it's not available on Steam, and Ubisoft hasn't indicated any plans to change this. It may be that The Surge 2 can only be acquired for PC through the Ubisoft Store or the Epic Store, but we don't know for sure yet. The game's copy claims that it brings uncompromising, that's true, limb-chopping, dynamic combat back to players. Witness new weapons, environments, enemies, colossal bosses, and moves that improve the formula. There are ever more challenges to overcome, equipment to loot and upgrade, and threats to survive. The Surge's iconic, fast-paced combat and unique limb targeting and looting mechanisms return for a dynamic combat experience that is as rewarding as it is unforgiving. Experience brand new, bigger, more lively environments. Jericho City is a massive location packed with secret passages, buildings, factions, friends, foes, and terrifying bosses. Abandoned, half-finished megastructures sit alongside ostensibly serene parks that have become nanomachine hunting grounds. As you progress through the nightmare, earn tech scrap and equipment pieces by tearing off enemy limbs to equip them to your exo-rig. Maybe that's why they look so ugly. As the nanomachine infestation eats Jericho City, new horrific amalgamations of man and machine roam the streets as gangs, the government, and cultists war for control over the most valuable areas. Next, Cyanide and Happiness and Skybound Games team up to create Trial by Trolley, an ethical dilemma card game. Though the Trial by Trolley Kickstarter had an original goal of just $69,420, it's now managed to raise $2,371,063. Make that $2,371,143. It's going up. It keeps going up even while I'm talking. People really want this game. Skybound Games are the creators behind Super Fight, and I'm sure most of you know the webcomic Cyanide and Happiness. But these two have collaborated to create a game in which you literally play out the ethical thought experiment known as the trolley problem. Its most simple form is the following. Say you happen to be driving a trolley, and on the track ahead you see someone tied up, unable to get out of the way. If you keep going, you will kill them. Then, on an alternate set of tracks, you see 3 people tied up who can't get away. If you switch to that set, you'll save the life of the person in front of you, but then you'll condemn 3 to die. The basic premise comes down to the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or try to run over as few people as possible. But Trial by Trolley complicates that, and it goes like this. Step 1. Choose one of your friends to be the conductor. The rest of you break into 2 teams. Step 2. Each track gets a random innocent card to start them off. So on the north track, we've got a 10-year-old cancer survivor, and on the south track, we've got a kitten cuddling with a dog. Step 3. Each team plays another innocent card onto their track. So north track gets a teenage superhero who will one day save the city, and the south track gets your best friend. Step 4. Each team sabotages the other track with a guilty card. So the north track gets a pedophile approaching a playground, and the south track gets Nickelback. Step 5, then each player plays modifier cards onto any character on either track to help sway the conductor to their side. So on the north track, we've played a card that gives the pedophile undetected terminal cancer, and on the south track, we play a card so that the kitten cuddling with a dog, everyone they love is going to die in a freak accident tomorrow. Step 6, everyone argues for their lives, and the conductor decides which track to murder. Every player on the murdered team gets a death token. After every player has been the conductor, the game is over, and the player with the fewest death tokens wins. If you want to support this project, you have a week left to do so, but I found a bit of an ethical dilemma in that very decision when searching through the FAQ. Curiously, in addition to the list of expected questions about shipping prices and game logistics, there was the following question and answer. I'm from the UK. Will Brexit ruin my day and stop me from getting the game? Nope. Whether the UK stays as part of the EU or goes off to do its own weird thing, we've got logistics plans for both circumstances. You just pay the shipping rate for the EU and we'll cover any extra costs that might be added by global politics in the near future. On its face, it might appear to be a genuine concern. What if shipping prices to the UK are altered because of political change? But when you think about it, the answer would be the same as shipping prices changing for any reason to any country. A decent company would quite obviously make up the difference, regardless of location or cause. In fact, shipping prices often do change for various reasons to various places. It's not an uncommon problem for manufacturers and distributors to have to take into consideration. To bring up the UK and Brexit specifically, and to refer to the movement as the UK doing its own weird thing, reveals not only a transparent political inclination, but a casual willingness to inject that into the game, if only at the crowdfunding level. This is not only unnecessary, but disingenuous, and it would still be both of these things if it was the contrary political position that had been put on display. So there you have your own personal trolley problem. Whether to support something that you now know, because you were forced to know, was created by those who unnecessarily inject politics into what they do, or to miss out on what could be a really fun game regardless of the intentional divisiveness of its creator. Which track will you choose, fellow conductors? For our last story, we've got the free titles for PS Plus that PlayStation announced for August. And even though several games are mentioned in this article, I'm putting video from the Wipeout Omega collection in the background because it's friggin' awesome. Contrary to leaks earlier this month, the free titles for PS Plus will be Wipeout Omega Collection and Sniper Elite 4. One of them is 2 high-octane, futuristic racing games paired together in a collection with PlayStation VR support, and the other a gritty World War II action game putting you in control of a master sniper fighting the Axis forces in Italy. The leak, mentioned earlier, came in early July and claimed that the free PS Plus titles would be EA Sports, UFC 3, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. And as cool as that old school Battlefront 2 is, I think the actual free titles are just as good. Subscribers to PlayStation Plus will be able to add these games to their library starting on August 6th. And that means if you still haven't picked up Detroit Become Human or Horizon Chase Turbo, you've got until the 5th to do that. Once the 6th rolls around, those games will no longer be available for free. Both of them are excellent titles for vastly different reasons, with Detroit being a deep introspection into the sentience and rights of self-aware AI, and Horizon Chase Turbo being a casual retro-style racer. Those who pick up Detroit also get access to Heavy Rain, another deep cinematic title from developer Quantic Dream. Important to note is the fact that subscribers don't actually need to download these games in order to secure them for free. Instead, you can simply add them to your library, or you can download them later. And as long as you're subscribed, you'll be able to get a hold of them. And that'll do it for this EG recap. I'm still on the search for suitable music and tinkering around with the video editing aspect of all this. I did notice one of the top comments on the last recap was asking me to quote Bob Ross, so I looked him up to see if I could do a decent impersonation. And then I realized a whole hour had passed and I'm sitting here watching this man paint trees, and I'm like, I don't even paint. What am I doing with my life? But anyway, as always, all articles referenced will be in the description below along with their timestamps. And if you like the video or share it or subscribe, it'll help the channel grow. I'll see you next time.